storage pot in the middle is that's got a birch or a beech tree, I'm not sure which it is, which I found as a seedling on the front drive a few years ago, and I thought it would make a nice feature there, so we've just put that in place. The hosta down to the left there, it's the first year I haven't had hosta leaves full of holes. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing right, but perhaps there aren't as many slugs this year. And then we've got some daddy blue petunias, which are my favourites. They smell beautiful and they go on forever.
This is a strawberry.
Yes, they're beginning to go red, aren't they?
Just, yeah.
And I'm quite surprised it's doing as well as it is, considering it's in a pot. That's oregano, the golden one next to it. Well, I think it is. It might be a mint. I'm not sure. Hang on. Oh, no, that's definitely oregano. These are more sweet peas that I've got to plant out. A little garlic experiment going on there. And that's a horseradish, which I'm not quite sure where to put it. Those are my poor runner beans over there in the distance. I've been out this morning and tied them into the poles again. I don't know how they're going to do. Yes, I've got 18, I think, planted in there, and as you can see they're just winding their way up the bamboos, but this wind is getting them from every direction, even with the windbreak in place. So we'll see. And I've got sweet peas at the end. It worked very successfully last year. You can see our guy ropes are in place, ready for a wind like this. This is my first little row of radishes, just popped up over the last couple of days. And I've sown a row of beetroot here, but no sign yet. These are some onions that we sowed last October, at the wrong time of year I think, and they overwintered okay. And they're certainly edible, but they're the big variety. They're supposed to have huge big bulbs on them, but they're not going to make it before they flower.
That's my fault, as I encouraged Sophie to have an experiment and see if we can plant these things early, and the answer is it's not worth the trouble.
And I think that's the same with the leeks. They're about to come into flower, and I think they shouldn't be coming into flower until next spring, if this year's anything to go by. So we'll have to eat those young as well. And then I've got 2 more rows of leeks that went in a few weeks ago. A row of King Richard leeks, which are mini vegetables, and spring onion white Lisbon in that row there. These are the raspberries. They're beginning to have proper little raspberries on them now. It's been a mass of bees. They absolutely love the flowers. And I'm quite pleased that even with the wind they're not getting too battered about. I've got little bits of foam here to stop them chafing on the wire, and that seems to be working.
Yeah, I think unless somebody's familiar with this sort of wind, they have no idea how much damage it does.
Well, I've got a little windbreak set up at the end there, just to keep that side of it, because the wind was coming from the east, from the sea, last week, which was a bit unusual. And you can see that the plants at this end of the bed aren't quite as bushy as the other end. That's purely a wind thing.
Oh, and
these are kabuki, which is a mini broccoli. They should start forming broccoli heads fairly soon, and the rest of the bed's going to have more of this. I've got 2 rows of parsnips, and then it's going to be kale at the end. Great plans. This is my little gooseberry. It's got lots of little gooseberries on it, which is encouraging, and I've been picking off the caterpillars as they appear.
they look nice, don't they?
This is the strawberry bed. It's doing really well actually. It's got lots of fruit coming on it, and these are perpetual strawberries, so we would hope to start cropping these in a couple of weeks and carry on through the summer. These are P. Kennedy, and they are a Monge 2. I haven't tried them before. And these are P. Twinkle, which are a podded pea. These are the second sowing of Twinkle and the second sowing of Kennedy. I've only just put these in the ground. It looks more like colditz with all these pieces of net everywhere. I don't know how easy or difficult it's going to be to get in amongst them and pick. This end I've still got the plastic on. I probably don't need to at this time of year, but just to warm the soil a bit. And this will be a third sowing of both of those varieties. And these, I chopped down a rhododendron in the front yesterday, and these are the sticks from it, which will make good pea sticks. This is the shallot bed, and you can see they've begun to start splitting. The foliage is looking quite yellow, which I'm surprised about. I didn't think it was supposed to go yellow until they'd sort of finished developing, but it's another variety I haven't tried before, so it might be different. These are the garlics, which I haven't grown garlic before, and some of them just aren't doing anything at all. And some of them look like that. I think they're supposed to grow like the shallot. They produce lots of little garlics around them. And then we're into more Ailsa Craig onions, which are the large ones. And I've got 2 rows of super sweet, which is a smaller onion, which aren't as successful by the look of it as these. These I sowed probably about a month ago, 5 weeks ago. They seem to be taking a long time to come up. These are cauliflowers, kabuki, which is more of the small broccoli, kale. I had to make a second sowing of these kale because the first 3 came up, and they're growing at very different rates actually. These peppers I've grown for a friend, so I'm just acclimatising them to outside because he hasn't got a greenhouse. These are spinach. This one and this one are the French beans, and I haven't grown them before, but they're a bit weak, so I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong. I'm growing 1 Swiss chard this year because we didn't get around to eating any of it last year, and they're quite big plants. And those are more little onions. These really are just here for a bit of an outing. They've been inside this thing and they don't need to be now. These are cleome, which I haven't grown before, but they're supposed to go up to about 3 foot, and they're quite spiny when they get big, a bit like roses, and they have pink and white flowers. They're called the spider plant, I think. These little jokers, they don't seem to like getting wet really. I planted some of these out in the front yesterday, and they close up their little furry leaves when they don't seem to like it being wet, which is quite sweet. These are more chrysanthemums that I've yet to plant out. And I've grown a load of chamomile lawn because I love the scent of it, but I'm not now sure where to put it.
Looks like carrots.
Well, the idea is you walk on it or sit on it and it releases its smell.
Okay.
These are nasturtiums, a really deep pink colour, and again I don't know where to plant them, but I couldn't resist the seed packet. Coleus, a friend sent me these. My dad used to grow them to have inside the greenhouse, and I'll probably do the same. I'm not all that keen on Coleus as a plant, but we'll see what they look like when they get bigger. They might make good presents for people.
Okay, that's about it for this update. If there's any one particular part of the garden that you'd like to know more details about, I'll get Sophie to talk us through it. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting. Bye bye.